I did my first medium long bike ride today. Then I got my car off in Ashland to get the brakes worked on, so I rode my bicycle back.
Oh, back here?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time? It's my first one of the year.
My window looking at the road.
I've been at some 10 miles.
Yeah. Dwayne Lane was driving
Before I
by
moved up here,
with his.
when I used to ride bicycles,
Fishing boat.
I had a method behind my
Usually
madness.
at this time of year, it's like.
Ride into the next town, go to the ice cream shop, and I ride home.
We used to do that. Dunker would ride his bike, he had a Dunker bicycle.
Okay.
He'd ride it right down the hill and then he'd always be able to get a ride back up the hill.
Everybody. Oh my goodness.
Both of them.
One that I found amazing for his age was when Vic Reinhardt was still alive. And he walked down Clement, coming to town, Dick County, Steve home, where we go the other, he was that man walked all the way.
Parts of the, you know, when you're close to.
He was trying to make it to night,
It was the water. was
flying his
flat.
plane, and he only made it to the end.
Fishing was.
Yeah.
It's just like.
And we had flights like that.
We got about 2/3 of the way there and I was from the start.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh, he was just a fascinating guy. It's awesome. And he was always enjoyable, always.
So
I can remember me sending him a postcard, and the next thing you know,
I see that. You're way ahead of schedule, man. I thought we got right at one. Oh, you gotta go back.
but I can remember and telling him that I was thinking about maybe getting into weekend. So I'm at the house by myself. It's starts to get dark, not totally dark yet. And there's one of those storms where it's blowing and snowing outside. There's a knock on the door, and I turn and look, and there's Nick at the door. Well, the first thing that I got to thinking was, oh my gosh, I hope he's not in the ditch.
Gang's all here.
He brought me meat and information.
I was to get hold of Roger. I mean, yeah, Roger had to find out.
Thankful,
No, this
full of
is
gratitude,
folks.
happy.
One of the four bids.
Okay.
CCS.
Looks pretty nice there.
Yeah, now I know. What you mean. Yeah, no. Okay. Matter of fact, we haven't ever heard from him, other than the interview that was on.
But yeah, short sleeves.
I'm in my office, but I don't have internet right now.
Not as long as they're, we still.
Yeah, January. Have the opportunity to go again.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Coconut water. There's a guy that goes around, they make it themselves, with a big liter jug, right, spike around. Stuff is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
No.
Just another.
Yeah, right.
I
Rub it in.
know, it's amazing. The goats that are around. Oh,
And the Facebook photo
I was just practicing.
What everybody else is saying.
It was like, all right. And they're like,
oh.
That's like.
do you want to come? And I'm like, no. I'm good. Oh, yeah, yeah. Like,
So we've been kind of unhappy with the website.
That's.
in Northwest. So Kennedy, going with.
Some of them are
South Carolina. for, I guess they.
Oh,
And
geez.
so she goes, but then she's like, well, I saw it start to rain.
Right off the boat.
She
Well,
wants
we
to
were down
visit,
there
and so
in
while she
January.
was in the airport.
Me and another gal, we went, I was just going to take some pictures.
But she's going with her people. So two
Happened to it.
solo, then her.
Yeah, he took us around.
Well, there's a back end. So it's-
So when we pulled up to the stop sign,
I mean, she's traveled, but she's usually.
you know, the dock is.
With somebody.
So,
And of course, like, she waited for the last minute.
and it wasn't just what was kind of, it was all these.
Yeah. I'm like,
But it wasn't all. It was.
yeah, right, one side and one side.
I mean,
Yeah.
You gave me that,
There was.
I got it filled out, I'll get back to you.
Five trips right off.
Yeah, so like.
How are you, sir? Grand, actually.
I think I'm my it's only Tuesday, and there's already been some ashes thrown. I know, I mean, like, it's not bells, but.
We'd have to make.
Yeah, I was talking about.
All right, it's 7:00. I call the meeting to order. Mary Beth is not here. Everybody on the board is you're here now.
Really?
Done making coffee now?
I didn't get a chance to say hi to everybody.
All right, we can all stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. Minutes of the previous board meeting.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say aye. All opposed. The clerk's report.
We got, we have the-
Oh, did we have,
Yeah, remember we had.
we got a special meeting?
Yeah.
I didn't read them. We'll do that next meeting. Yeah. All right, clerk's report.
All right, there is the upcoming election on April 2nd, and ballots going out, so that's all been going very well. Everything else has been in order. I've been currently dealing with the IRS for the town about tax withholding. There was a change in their putback requirement for the maximum amount of 100,000 was changed to 50,000. The paying status was changed from monthly to semi-weekly. In the past, they would always notify me by a letter, and I did contact them because they had sent me a letter with penalties, and they then explained to me that I should write a letter to them to confuse those penalties. So that's what I ended up doing. And now we're the change. When I explained to them and I did not get the letter, they said, Oh, I don't know, my bird didn't send it.
And we got the refund,
Oh, good.
so that's being deposited today,
Oh, good.
tomorrow.
It's resolved.
She's got it fixed. Yep, Mary Beth's got it fixed.
I'm working on it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. The treasurer's report.
I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I will second that motion.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. Board comments.
I have one.
Yes.
Some of you may be aware because you've driven by it or you participated in it, but there's been an effort to revitalize the orchard up in the Swenson, or the Sissequick River Preserve. And we've gone in there and cleaned up and pruned all the apple trees up there. Well, not all of them, but a good share of them where it's been cleared and stuff. And it looks really nice. So if you want to go up there, and it's really going to improve the apple crop, I'm sure, this fall. So if you haven't seen it, go take a look at it because it looks really good. And you see all the brush along the road there, that's going to go away. The county's going to come in there and chip it. So, and if you're looking for apple chips, probably a good time to go if you want to smoke or something. It's a good place to do. So
And that's no problem if we go up there and forage and help.
just go up there and help yourself. You know,
All right, thank you. Anything else? Correspondence, I don't have any. Anybody else?
I did, but it will come up in, number 2 under new business.
Okay. Committee reports? I guess under that, Jess, do you wanna just give us a little overview of the burn at the ponds up there?
Well, we're supposed to do that tomorrow.
Yep.
But, called the DNR and all the burn permits are suspended, so I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay, so no burn tomorrow. most likely.
Looks that way, yeah.
Okay. Sanitary district?
Not much to report, except we're going to have a hearing coming up shortly on our discussion of amending our permit to not put such a harsh limit on our suspended solids and our basic oxygen numbers. So I'll keep you guys informed.
Thank you. Public comment period number 1.
Thank you for acting quick.
This is a good spot.
Sure.
This is where I was last time I was here. If you recall, I was here in January, asking for board support specifically to apply for a Thrive Rural Wisconsin grant. And since then, we've been awarded. So very exciting. That's primarily focused for senior housing development here in Cornucopia, Town of Bell. So the project itself is very preliminary. It's exploring what our options are before we bring it to the board for approval. So right now, we're just looking at different options of if we can even build out here and what that would look like on several different areas. And so I just wanted to give you guys an update that we're really excited that we were awarded that. And then the financial aspects of it going forward is there may be options for us to apply for 2 $25,000 grants with them to help keep the project rolling and look at different development ideas. So I'll keep you guys updated as things proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comments? Yes.
Question to the board, all that trimming along Highway C, there's all that wood there. Does anybody know if that's free for the taking or not?
On 13.
Along 13 there, all that wood that's piled up real nicely or whatever, I'm just curious to know. And 2, just to let everybody know, the coffee cart goes through the end of the month, Thursday mornings, 9 to 11.
Matt, do you have an insight on that with the wood?
I do not.
Okay.
I've heard that it's all within the DOT right away, so it should be available, but don't quote me on that. And historically, anything that was attached to the neighboring property would have been theirs.
Who would be the best person to contact about that?
Excel or
Excel?
or Zeelis, who
Oh.
were
Okay, if I can kind of circle back to housing just real quick. So we did have the first kickoff meeting for the Strive Rural planning process here at the town of Bell. And we'll continue to have those with our contact at WEDC going forward. And part of that whole project is going to involve stakeholder and community engagement to make sure that we're keeping folks informed and getting feedback as things progress. Kind of related, but not quite, a few updates from the county-wide perspective as it relates to housing. I wanted to let you know that next Monday, we expect our new affordable housing nonprofit organization, Check Built, that will serve both Ashland and Bayfield counties, will roll over from a steering committee to a board of directors, and then we will approve our application for 501c3 status to be submitted. So things are plugging along quite nicely there. For that organization, we got another Minnesota Housing Partnership Technical Assistance Grant also, so potentially providing for staffing for this nonprofit for the first couple of years, as well as some of the planning to start getting homes into the portfolio, both acquisition and rehab of houses that are currently underutilized or maybe kind of in need of some work, and potentially new construction within the next year or two as well, because new units are desperately needed in every corner of the county. The very big and exciting news this week, though, is that it's related to the proposed housing development in Washburn. Right now, our partner, Senair, the nonprofit developer, has submitted the application for low-income housing tax credits to serve that development. And we were just notified over the weekend that we received $1 million in a congressional appropriation toward that project as well. So significant progress. Huge cash infusion that I think will really take us a long way toward actually seeing that become a reality, which is exciting. So thank you for your support for housing efforts in this corner of the world, and happy to share, I guess, updates as things keep moving in other areas as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Public comments? All right, moving on. Going into old business, town financial audit. Do you have anything to update, Mark?
No, they won't. Right now, everyone's doing a bunch of tax work. They don't want to deal with audits.
Okay, thank you. Town website reconstruction. Paul, do you wanna
Sure.
start that?
Yeah, so John Anderson was here and I took it upon ourselves to check out some surrounding township websites, and we identified 6 possible providers, and we reached out to them and asked. We probably had hour-long meetings with all of them, and asked them to submit proposals. And we gave them a March 1st deadline, and 4 companies submitted. One was going to be over $10,000, and I said, we've got a couple bids already significantly under that. So he said, thank you for telling me that. I won't waste our staff's time. And then we also reached out to the current host, Roger Peck from Superior Lighthouse. And it turns out that he's not completely getting out of the website business. He's got like 250 websites, 200 are commercial, 50 are Chamber of Commerce's and small municipalities like ours. And so he wants to keep those 50, but he's going to get rid of the 200. So he's real interested in maintaining his relationship with us. So we, of course, reached out when we found that out. We told him what we were thinking about doing and asked him to see what it would cost, because he bills by the hour. And so John and I have been going over the proposals, and as we dig deeper, we kind of end up with more questions that we end up reaching out to these providers to get. One that's perhaps problematic is we're supposed to keep all our emails for 7 years. And that's might take up quite a bit of space. And We're not sure if the Superior Lighthouse hosts our emails or if it's with, Schwami. Or Nevada, whatever they are. We're not sure. We think cornywi.org is an alias that it goes there and then it goes somewhere else. Okay, to our old check tech accounts or something like that. So that we have to investigate too, because some of, there's some limits. Thank God for John. He can speak that language. I'm getting an education. We hope, we sent packets out. And so I hope everybody had a chance to look at them. We are hoping to make a recommendation to the board at the April meeting. If that timeline is effective. The bids are all structured differently, so what we've tried to do is look at what the cost would be over 3 years. Because some are cheap up front, the back end is high, some are more expensive up front, the back end is low. So we figured if we looked at it for 3 years, we get a better feel for what it would cost the town. But we have 4 bids and then plus the lighthouse. We have 5 bids, and we're just taking our time, and as questions arise, John and I meet pretty regularly, and as questions arise, we reach out to the providers. They give us answers that John can understand. It's way above my technical expertise when we start getting into some of that stuff.
So are these Rogers willing to keep going with it?
Yeah, but our website, if you try to find stuff on our website, good luck.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck. And so that's not all Roger's fault. When he set it up, nobody wanted the responsibility of working in the back end. So no one's asked him for permission and access to go in there. Well, we've got about 1,200 old files that need to kind of be organized, set up, transferred. And that's where some of the pricing differences are. How long is it gonna take that? Because you wanna have code words. You want, for instance, if we want the zoning committee's agendas and meeting minutes, we need to have them. So you type in zoning minutes and it takes you to where it is, and nothing works like that hardly at all. So it's not all Roger's fault, but anyway, so we're looking at it sort of like, is it better to remodel something or build from new? And that'll be the board's decision when we get there, and we'll make a recommendation.
And just to be clear on everything, what we have are proposals, not bids.
Okay,
Because legally, that's a whole different operation. So we
Okay.
have proposals.
I apologize for my ignorance.
I'll forgive you.
Get used to it.
So, was there anything else?
No, does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll keep you guys in the loop when things go down, but we should be able to do that by April, don't you think? Okay, thanks, John. And I just want to say that John is, I can't imagine trying to do this without him.
Yeah, you guys did a lot of work. I mean, it was no,
Yeah, 90% was John.
All right, thank you. All right, now we have to take nominations for a plan commissioner, and this is one position will be
Yeah, one.
open.
Yep, one position. The positions run 3 years. And we have one commissioner that is up for reappointment. So you wanna open it up for people to send in nominations and do it in April, or?
Yep, yeah, we will do the appointment in April and we'll start, I mean, anytime between now and then, you can email or verbally, or however you wanna nominate somebody. You can do it at this meeting too, if
Yeah.
we can open it up right now, but the appointment will be made at the next board meeting. So I'll take nominations now for the one position. Are there any nominations?
I'll nominate Mark Ellis.
Mark Ellers has been nominated. Is there anything else or anybody else?
is gonna just nominate Kenny Roman.
Ken Roman is nominated. Is there anybody else? No? All right, like I say, anytime between now and the next board meeting, you can let me know of any other nominations and somebody will be appointed at the next board meeting. All right? Short-term rental ordinance designation for commercially zoned property, commercial zone property. Jackie, would you like to?
Yes, we have, let me get back here. We did have a slight discussion because when the short-term rental ordinance was first being worked on, it was being worked on to help regulate the rentals that were coming, where people were renting their second homes or vacation homes, their primary homes. And we got a little hiccup in it. And it has to do with our commercial entities here in town. And all the board members did receive a letter from Greg Weiss from Lost Creek Adventures. I also received, which got sent out late today to all the board members. I apologize for that, but as soon as I seen it, I did send it out, from Jeff Bayerhoff. We do have, as far as inspections go, between the short-term rentals and that are in residential homes versus commercial buildings. And this came from Anne Marie Coy with Bayfield County Health Department. And she said the requirements in the code apply to the same to all classes of lodging establishments. The only differences are when the lodging code references building code violations that fall under our purview for safety, i.e. fire, egress, stairways, elevated walking surfaces. The building code references to the commercial building code would not apply to a residential single unit tourist rooming house, since those are built following the UDC or Uniform Dwelling Code, in which case we follow those code references. So there is a difference in how they are inspected. Now, let me get back up here. What came from Jeff Bayerhoff today, he did call me, and then he sent the email. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here tonight because he had another commitment in Ashland. And he wanted to weigh in on the agenda item listed for tonight's meeting regarding commercial STRs. As a background statement, I wish to point out that approximately 2 years ago at a Town of Bell meeting, I addressed the board stating my opposition to the whole STR debacle. It was clear then, as it is now, phone hanging. There are members in the community that can't help but stick their nose into other folks' business. At the conclusion of my comments, I was informed by the majority of the board that this has nothing to do with my business, as I am a commercial entity. Seeing the topic arise on the agenda was a bit perplexing, as there was no previous minutes or agenda items indicating this was coming. Here is a list of my concerns. I have received zero correspondence nor personal contact regarding this matter. My only understanding of the matter comes from a reading of the current ordinance on the website. There is nothing regarding commercial businesses in the ordinance. The ordinance written applies to residential dwellings. Residential dwelling, any building structure or part of the building or structure that is used or intended to be used as a home, residence, or sleeping place by one person or by two or more persons maintaining a common household to the exclusion of all others. Parentheses, state of Wisconsin definition. Neither my wife nor myself live at the dwellings on the property. Property is zoned RB and has been a commercially run lodging business in the town of Bell for numerous years to the exclusion of all others. The Bayfield County Health Department license for our business has a designation tourist rooming house and listed as an LTR. Nowhere is a designation as STR appears on any of our licensing. I would respectfully request the board recognize, that there are commercial rental entities within the community that are by definition different from the STR entities you're trying to regulate. I would ask that you refrain from further regulation and fees of a very difficult business to derive any profit from. Being located in a small tourist community with a short summertime window, making money to keep the doors open year-round is a very tall order. Respectfully, Jeff and Cindy Byerhawk, owners of the Siskiyou River Cabins. So we have 3 rental businesses in town that are commercially run, that are not run, with a second home, vacation home. So we have to decide how we're gonna proceed with this. And Greg has already said that until this is decided, he will not send any money in for the application.
So it's for businesses that are not on residential property. Let's define it as that. Does that make sense? Because it's always my understanding that the ordinance that was written and passed was not to include commercial property. It was to, and I know it wasn't probably as specific an ordinance, but it's one of those things that wasn't thought of, I guess.
But does that mean it has to be on commercial zoning?
Well, non-residential.
Non-residential.
Well, commercial or RV, right?
Okay, anything but residential.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what the terminology is.
that's what we're defining, I guess, because that's what the question from the people, from the owners were.
Yeah, I recall from previous discussions that, we were going to separate the two, and that was an issue, and I think that wasn't the intent, was to include them, I don't think, as part of that. That's
No,
just
no,
my
again,
recollection.
No, it was not.
From the start, yeah.
Right, from the get-go.
Did we reach out to our lawyer for any language about that or anything?
No, we haven't reached out to them. We reached out to Anne Marie to find out about the inspections and then to decide how we want to proceed. If we feel that we need the input from the attorney or not.
I guess I would like that just for the language, make the language clear. Because I think the cabins were probably built in the 60s, weren't they?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and if they had one more unit, they could be a motel. And that would be totally nothing that we'd have to worry about, but because they're four cabins instead of 5, or 4 rooms instead of 5. But yeah, I would like to make sure that our language isn't gray, I guess, and I'm not sure anybody here can, because I know we're not allowed to distinguish based on zoning. So the word commercial to me is a critical aspect to that.
Well, part of what comes in with this, which I did talk to Greg about, and where Lost Creek Adventures is with what they have there, when that was turned into what it is today, we had nothing that came to front of the board. No Class A special use for short-term rentals, nothing. Everything that they did with their permitting was through Bayfield County and the state of Wisconsin, to the point of their inspection being done by a state inspector, which came up out of Hayward. So, there is a difference there in these.
Because it was commercial.
Yeah.
Right.
So my take on it is hold off on doing anything with Lost Creek Adventures, the Siskiyou River Cabins, and the one above the coffee shop.
Sweet shop?
until
How about the folks?
they're bed and breakfast.
Oh, they're been.
They're different.
Yeah. That's,
And also, going up on Spirit Point. They're bed and breakfast,
That
so
lodge.
oh, the lodge.
that was a
Right,
Cisco
right,
Village Lodge.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
So that's my theory on it, is
I'm with you.
we
Yeah.
need to put a hold on those three until we get this ironed out.
Clarification.
And if it means putting a line in the ordinance, then we're just gonna have to put a line in the ordinance.
Is that the only reason it's all the bed and breakfast is because they do serve breakfast?
And then you live on it.
And, okay,
You have to live on it.
you have to live in
You
there.
have to live
Yeah,
in
there's,
property.
there's some different, regulations for bed and breakfast.
It can't be absentee. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, do you need a motion to go to the attorney or?
Well, I think we're all in agreement on the spirit of what we did with passing the ordinance. And if you, I think you're right to, for now, say that we didn't intend to include them. So if you want to make a motion to exclude them until we figure out what the wording should be so that it's clear to them and everybody else, I would be happy with that motion. If everybody else would agree that you would say this does not apply to you until we figure out the wording in the ordinance.
Okay, I'll make a motion to what Matt just said.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
I said, thank you much for that.
That's well worded.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
No, I got it.
Okay,
The motion is to exclude, the commercial property piece until the wording in the ordinance is clarified.
Are you happy with that, Jackie? Is
Yeah.
that your motion?
Yeah.
And was there a second?
I'll second it.
All seconded. The motion is made and seconded. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, say aye. And Jesse, did you not vote?
See,
Jesse abstained. Okay, was there anything else on that?
No.
Okay. All right, Parks and Lands application for a county grant to be used for outdoor exercise equipment. Is that you, Gordy, or?
Yeah, I can start it off here, and then, I think Doug said he'd fill in the blanks on it, but, Parks and Lands is looking at, applying for a county grant. It's the community wellness,
Health infrastructure.
that grant. It, it's up to $5,000. It's a 50-50 matching grant. And it can be used for any kind of wellness, ensuring the wealth or the health and wellness of the community. And we can also use in-kind donations. So the town uses equipment and volunteer labor that can be used against the match. And maybe you want to give some specifics on it, Doug, about what you're looking at?
We've had one meeting with the subcommittee who's looking into this, and they're investigating possible exercise stations along a trail or some places around town. They're looking into what kind of appliances stand up to the weather year-round with no maintenance. Just early investigation of what would be appropriate for these monies. And it's, develop hiking paths also. It all could be used for that. So we're just checking things out right now.
Yeah, and the deadline to apply for this is April 28th, I believe. So time is of the essence on it. Right? So if we were to move ahead with it, we'd have to have approval.
So
That's all I know about it. So
are you asking for a motion?
yeah, I guess you're asking for a motion to allow the Parks and Lands Committee to apply for this grant.
I'll second it. You just made it, right?
I did.
Okay.
All right, the motion is made and seconded. All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, say aye. There's no opposed. And that leads us into public comment period number 2. Do we have any public comment? Yes.
I would just follow up with what Doug is talking about. When we lived in a small community in central Minnesota, Moore, Minnesota, where the Vasilokit is, that down along the river, they had this kind of exercise on the trail. And it was more of a Scandinavian type exercise, so it was really, you had to move, you had to bend. And it really was well used and it was really a good thing. So I'd really encourage that for something like that for us, and we have space to do that.
Public comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, supervisors, just to support Jackie, Supervisor I, when we were beginning working on the STR ordinance, in our initial discussions, Lost Creek Adventures was excluded because we thought it was on commercial property. And the standards for building there were different than residences. We didn't see it as a residence much to the way you talked about it, Mr. Chair. Siskowit River Cabins, we thought was also a business that had been there for a long time. And as Supervisor Ehlers had said, were there more units there, it would have been a different classification, but it was clearly not a residence that people lived in and moved in and out of. It was clearly a business. The Siskowit Bay Marina was a bed and breakfast. The owners lived there and served a breakfast to the people. And we thought, and I believe, bed and breakfasts have to have a commercial kitchen. Which I think they do. The Cornucopia Sweet Shop, again, a bed place upstairs, clearly in a commercial area with nothing but commercial about that business. The Siskowit Bay Lodge Bed and Breakfast, again, fell in the area of bed and breakfast, so we didn't include those originally. Since then, one of the interesting things that's happened, Marge Roman came to a number of our meetings, and in working, I think, with the planning commission or some planning commissioners, learned that she could become a bed and breakfast, not by installing a commercial kitchen, but by serving a meal every day that was prepared commercially. So I think what she's doing now is she won't be a short-term rental anymore. She'll be a bed and breakfast because she's gone through some different hoops to make that happen. And so one of the things about this business, and I appreciate the flexibility with which you discussed this tonight. I think we'll have more of these kinds of things that are awkward. And the fact that you make kind of a data-based reasoned approach is pretty neat. And so I wanted to tell you what some of our original thinking was, and if that's supportive at all, to be helpful, and also to say thanks for your work on these issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
I had two things I wanted to kind of bring up with regard to the proposed changes to the short-term rental ordinance. The first is a correction to Mr. Meyerhoff's comments. Per the Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection, LTR does not stand for long-term rental. It stands for licensed tourist rooming. That is a 3-letter number designation that the state puts in. For example, bed and breakfast designations are LED, hotels from 5 to 30 rooms are LH1, hotels from 31 to 99 rooms are LH2, and hotels from 100 to 199 rooms are LH3. So the concept that the state license somehow dictates whether it's a long or a short-term rental does not apply at all to the way DATCAP actually classifies the licenses. The other thing that I would suggest, if you're going to be talking to an attorney to develop language that would exempt commercial properties from this ordinance, is while the designation of commercial is something that's often defined through land use, i.e. zoning, what would stop an enterprising, aggressive short-term rental owner-operator from buying a single-family residence and then applying to Bayfield County to rezone that property something other than residential? And secondly, of the 4th draft that Bayfield County has gone through with its own short-term rental regulatory ordinance, which is coming up again for a vote at the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting later this month. Planning and zoning has automatically qualified pretty much every land use zoning classification in the county as eligible for short-term rental. There are elements within the zoning code that say if there is a conflict between, say, a local land use policy and a county land use policy, the more restrictive one will prevail. So if you are thinking of creating that exemption, I would suggest that you advise your attorney to be diligent and targeted and creative with that, so as to try to preempt the possibility for anyone coming in and seeking a loophole that would redefine short-term rentals in a way beyond the traditional legacy idea that you're going with tonight and forward. Thank you.
Public comments?
Mike, I'll offer one more thing, sorry. So in mentioning that $1 million allocation, that I feel like it would be helpful to let you all know that that was awarded via the congressionally directed spending request process, which happens to be open for a very short period right now for fiscal year 25. So Senator Baldwin is the only representative for this part of the state that opens a portal for requests for appropriations, the new version of Earmark. And that portal will close on March 24th, but it is an opportunity for communities that maybe don't have the resources or other access to funds for a variety of things. I've seen communities that got, a new ambulance. There is the language immersion school at LCO was awarded $5 million to enhance their facilities. There have been opportunities to use that funding to fix failing sewer systems, to address PFAS contamination in drinking water. It's a wide variety of things for which there might not be an obvious other funding source. And the initial application is really for review by her internal staff and committee staff. So the first application is really pretty straightforward. If you have a sense of the project and an idea of what it might cost, it's a pretty light lift to be able to log in and make that submission. And if it makes the first cut as far as project consideration is concerned, then they'll follow up for additional details further down the road. So it's only open for a very short window. It's a really great opportunity, and all they can say is no. So it doesn't hurt to ask, in my opinion. But if there's anything in the town of Bell that you think might benefit from such an investment, I'd really encourage you to take a look on her website before March 24th.
Thank you.
About sewage treatment.
Yeah, that sounds like a great.
That's what I was thinking.
I only need $2 million.
Well, ask for 4 and you'll probably get 2.
You'll have to give me all the information. if you don't mind.
Sure thing. Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other public comments? I guess the one last thing I have to add is what's the date for the next meeting? So, the April meeting is gonna be on the third Tuesday because it's the annual meeting, so that the date is April 16th. So we'll have the annual meeting and the regular board meeting on April 16th. So, any other public comments?
The fireworks are gonna happen on July 6th, 2024, if the town chairman signs this document.
I can do that. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make
Go ahead.
a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? There is no opposed. Thank you for coming.
Have a very good speaking.
My wife said,
And,
Right.
I mean, so our.
I had to,
And
yeah, 'cause
but if you go.
this is how it goes. I don't know how to work it, I don't know how to work in Excel, so you get info for That's how I put it together in lieu of Excel. I don't know how to work Excel.
Everything you're gonna do is come back first. It What are they gonna do to you? What are they gonna do to you? That's right. So I and so. That's sort of where we're at. And
But I wanted to see if anybody had any benefit that. Oh, no, you don't want to, you don't want to stay Sleeping giant that all the way down to